I've seen every video on this topic and they're all missing the one thing that actually works. So I created this video so that this can be the last video that you have to watch on this topic of changing your appearance. I mean, we've all been told to fix the outside at some point, right? Lose weight, clear your skin, throw some money at it. But what about if your external reality isn't even real? Because it's not. It's a filter, one that your brain has created based on your past predictions. I mean, every single morning before you even open your eyes, your brain has decided how you look, how you feel, and how the world sees you. So if you want to change your face, your body, your entire presence, then you do not start from the outside. You start from the code that's running the show. This isn't no manifestation fluff. This is not wishful thinking. This is neuroscience and energy combined. And once you understand how to change those predictions, you're going to change the entire game. So let's get into why you look the way you look. Because your brain isn't just seeing reality, it's actually predicting it. I mean, some neuroscientists have actually called this controlled hallucination. But here's what that actually means in real life. When you look in the mirror, you're not seeing the raw truth. You're seeing what your brain expects you to see based upon your past. It's following a mental blueprint of your self-image that says, this is who I am. This is how I've always looked. And the thing about that is everything that you attach to this is who I am goes on to determine exactly who you allow yourself to become. Say you know someone who has lost a bunch of weight only to gain it back in the exact same year. This is so normal because the blueprint of their old identity never changed. So despite the external changing, their internal was always pulling them back to the old programming. And we can flip it as well. You may have heard someone or know someone that says, I never gain weight. And they never goddamn do. That's because that belief is so hardwired and so written into their blueprint, into their identity, into who they believe they are in this world. So when you think about it, to stand in front of a mirror and say the affirmations of I'm beautiful, I'm confident, I've lost 10 stone, they don't work magically. Not because they might not be true, but because your brain runs on evidence, not on empty words. So if you're saying something that the brain doesn't accept as your identity, if your brain doesn't believe it, then it's going to highlight that. It's going to be like, no, that's not us. And then just blatantly ignore it. Because to the brain, it means absolutely nothing. You trying to reaffirm a whole new self-concept with just only one or two sentences here and there is like you trying to paint over concrete. If your brain has believed for so many years that you are shy or you are average looking, one sentence doesn't erase years of evidence and proof that your brain has gone on to collect about your self-concept, about your beliefs about yourself. In fact, the opposite, your brain is constantly scanning the external reality for any goddamn proof that fits the old story, that fits the old identity, that fits the old self-concept it's been running on forever. So if you want real, genuine change, you have to give it evidence. You need to give it experiences that feel real so it has a reason to believe in this new identity. But then how do we actually rewire the brain? Well, now that you understand why your brain keeps pulling you back to the old identity, here's how to actually teach it something new. Neuroscientists call this Hebbian learning. Neurons that fire together, wire together. But what that actually means in simple, everyday, normal terms for everyone else is when your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions all line up, then the brain can go on to accept or start to accept this new reality as the new normal. And really, the formula for that could be as simple as visualize your upgraded self, match it in your body, and then feel as though it's already here now, as though it's already happened and filling up your life right now. If you were to repeat that daily, your brain would rewire. Because you're teaching it, this is who we are now. This is how we operate now. This is the program that we are now going to switch to full-time, permanently. This is our default. And then you would go on to layer habits. As James Clear says in Atomic Habits, every tiny habit you do reinforces your identity. So slouch, rush, avoid eye contact. You're signaling out to the universe, to everyone around you, hey, I'm insecure. But if you walk slower, if you hold stillness and you talk with presence, you are signaling out to the universe, hey, I'm goddamn confident. Because the thing is, action will always beat feeling every time. Say, for example, you train every single day like an athlete. What is the difference between you and an actual athlete? Say you run every day. What is the difference between you and an actual runner? And sure, at first, it feels unnatural, and that's okay. Of course it does. But show up like that title already belongs to you. Because really, why doesn't it? And if you repeat that long enough, if you do that long enough, what you do becomes stronger than what you feel. And that's when identity locks in. Now let's talk about the energetic layer of all of this, the manifestation, the self-concept layer of all of this. The first point I actually want to address is neutral energy, because overhyped visualizations or scripting can sometimes actually backfire on us. Because subconsciously what you're doing is actually placing this desire on such a pedestal. You're getting so excited about it that you're actually creating distance between you and that thing. Because in this visualization, it's not like this is your normal reality. You're seeing this as something in the future. Therefore, it will always remain in the future ahead of you. And we don't actually want to do this. What we want, the real key in all of this, is to do it from a neutral state. You know, when imagining that upgraded version of you feels calm, it feels familiar, it almost feels boring. Like, yes, of course, this is me. Of course, this is my life. Of course, this is going to happen to me. I want it to be repeated that many times that this is your default response to that version of you. Like, sure, yeah, that's me. The second point I want to make on this is the expectation effect. When you expect good things to happen, you go on to embody that. And I mean, the placebo effect already proves this, that belief alone can change your body. Because if you expect good things to happen, you go on to act in ways unconsciously that make them happen. And listen, that expectation you have, that is shaping your tone, your behavior. It is shaping even your face. And then the third point I want to make is all about self-concept. Because everything checks against your self-concept. Your habits, your posture, your identity, your expressions, all of that reinforce this self-concept that you hold about yourself. And if you were to just change that self-concept, the rest of your life would change as a result, guaranteed. There are so many ways that you can go on to change your self-concept, but even just doing tiny little things today to shift the way that you perceive yourself makes all the difference. Like, find proof. Small wins, someone complimented your vibe, you're feeling lighter in your own skin. Because as I've said 1,000 times, your brain loves evidence. And then act as if consistently, because behavior will teach the brain faster than thought ever can. And then repeat in a calm state. Repetition builds belief, and belief is the driver of your reality. The whole key in this is first, you've got to be able to see yourself as different. You've got to see yourself differently, and then the world will go on to see you differently. But as always, it always starts with you first. But if I was to give you a 30-day step-by-step plan, this is what I'd suggest you do. The first step would be your morning predictive reset, because how you spend the first 30 days of your day is the template for how the rest of the day goes on for you. Visualize or listen to your self-concept script. You can write it out, you can hear it, and I want you to see this version of yourself. I want you to be able to feel it. I want you to be able to view how everyone else sees that version of you. I want you to hear this every day. I want you to see this every day. I want you to feel this every day, first thing in the morning, because we want to normalize it as much as possible. Because as I've said, we will go on to manifest what we expect and what we deem as normal. Then I would say do a quick mirror scan in front of the mirror and pick 3 things that you love about yourself. Just 3 things. It could be anything about yourself. And I want you to just say those 3 things, and I want you to say, this is me now. Because those micro wins are convincing your brain that this is real. That's how you feel about yourself. That's how you see your self-concept. With loving eyes, with genuine like of who you are and what you represent. And then embody this throughout the day. That's usually the hardest part. And this is going to look different for every single person. This is not a one size fits all. Maybe you walk slower, you talk slower, you maintain eye contact more. But essentially your posture and your body language is always the introduction to your self-concept with the outside world. So take care of that. And then the next step, I would say, do a night expectation journal. That kind of sounded funny, but basically I want you to write out 1 short line as if it's already real, as if this is already your reality, your self-concept, who you are as a person. You know, people notice my confidence naturally. I don't want you to exaggerate this. I want you to keep it believable. You can do this once, you could do this twice, you can do it 10 times. You could do some lines that you already believe about yourself and your self-concept now, and also intertwine new lines that you want to believe about yourself and your self-concept. And then after that, I want you to prime your subconscious with audio whilst you fall asleep. So subliminals, affirmations, listen to your self-concept recorded as you are falling asleep. And heck, even while you're sleeping, because your brain literally rewires whilst you sleep. And you're not doing nothing, so you might as well fill that time with some great affirmations of who you are as a person, how magnetic and lucky and oh, how this universe is always working in your favor. And then lastly, I would do weekly layering. So every week I would add on a new identity habit into my day-to-day life, like a little mini challenge for me, a little mini experiment. They don't need to be big. Again, as always, like week 1 could be, okay, I'm just going to stand taller, or I'm going to speak up more in group settings. And then week 2 might be, okay, every single day I'm going to dress up as the version of me that I see in my head, the upgraded version that I keep stopping myself from being. Or it could be, I'm going to double my workload this week because I really want to push myself forward. But every little bit of small proof is the evidence that your brain needs to see to believe in this new reality, to believe in this new identity. Now, most videos will teach you hacks, they'll teach you affirmations, they'll teach you rituals, but that's not the point. The truth is, it's not about some technique. It's about how you fully go on to accept this new identity as your reality. And in my opinion, the fastest way is to combine neuroscience and energy work together, where your brain, your habits, your frequency, they're all saying the same thing. This is who I am now. They're all aligned and operated with the same program, the same drive forward. And every method that works for you, whether it's EFT, whether it's scripting, whether it's visualizing, whether it's subliminals, the list goes on. They all come down to the exact same thing. You being able to rewire your self-concept so much that it feels inevitable. You have convinced yourself of this new identity, of this new reality, of these opportunities that await you. All these techniques, all these ways of going about it, all of that is just the transportation to get you from here to there, where emotional conviction has already happened, where you have heard it and said it and consumed it and lived it so much you now believe it. So in this state right now, if you are wanting to change your appearance, if you want to change your life, if you want to change the biggest to the smallest things, I'm telling you right now, stop obsessing over the how. Just show up as the version that you want to become over and over and over again until your body, until your brain, until your energy follows suit. And that's how you'll change your life and your appearance. As always, if you like this kind of content, then please subscribe. Let's become friends, and I will see you soon.